for anyone. All right, let's check out your Alexandria Tower Cam on Texas Street, courtesy of Cenla Broadcasting. Just some leftover cloudiness from an earlier thunderstorm we had in and around the city. Rapides Hospital, looking across the river there, looks like we got a nice barge coming up the river, and we've got Rapides Hospital sponsoring this cam, and as is the case with all of our sky cams, you just never know what you're going to see, interesting things that you're going to see. We're seeing some clouds in the distance as well. And of course, it's muggy. Gina, likewise, a little filtered sun getting through, kind of looking to the west there with a few breaks in the clouds. And then going into our next destination, Toledo Bend, Highway 6 bridge there, we're seeing some cloudiness. There's been some rain in that particular area during the day. And then Beauregard Parish, between Ritter and Dry Creek, we're seeing a pretty good sky there, partly to mostly cloudy, and those folks are warm, and humidity is high. Radar showing most of the action now has retreated off into Texas and is weakening. The strongest storms are extending from extreme southeast St. Landry Parish all the way to the south of Baton Rouge, right there. Those are thunderstorms. Look at that lightning, a lot of lightning there south of Baton Rouge. Back here in Cenla, I think maybe we've had about all we're going to get. Now some of this will kind of work across the southern part of St. Landry, and I think essentially that will be about it for the rain story this evening. Satellite and radar showing a little stall front in the area. Notice this big clockwise circulation here. This is what some folks call the heat dome. It's a high pressure cell. It's a hot bubble of air this time of year, and we're underneath it, and it felt like it. It's been feeling like it, and it will continue to feel like it. Notice showers and thunderstorms. Once it gets hot enough, we see this boundary activating things a little bit, working with the daytime heating, and so that's responsible for it. So if you got rain today or heard thunder, well, that's why. Futurecast for your start back to work in the morning. We're seeing a pretty good sky, partly to cloudy, maybe a few clouds in some locations, fair in other places. Right now, not seeing any rain early in the day. As you go into the 5 o'clock hour, back home for your commute, by then, yeah, it'll be hot enough, and there'll be some hit and miss showers and a few thunderstorms for the day. And then some of that will continue into the evening hours. Later on, about 8, 9 o'clock, you got to run errands. You're going to be out with some entertainment. Showers and thunderstorms will still be around. In fact, they may be a little bit more prevalent during that particular time as we kind of see our maximum rain chances in the afternoon and evening. And then going through Wednesday, we're seeing some showers and thunderstorms develop throughout the day there. Looking at your satellite picture, we immediately turn our attention to Hurricane Beryl, which is in the eastern Caribbean now. In fact, you can see the well-defined eye feature right here. Again, a clear eye, and instead of a milky eye or a cloudy eye, indicative of a very well-organized system there. You can see the outflow channel working kind of in this direction, and then in this direction, the counterclockwise flow, kind of divergent flow aloft. And so we got all the goods going on here, folks. This is a very well-organized, major, dangerous hurricane, and it made a direct hit on some of the islands over there this morning. Let's go into your latest information. Maximum sustained winds up to the latest advisory 155 miles per hour. That's as strong as it's been, and that is just barely below Cat 5 strength. And the movement continues fairly quickly west-northwest at 21 miles per hour. Typically we see 15 or 12 on a hurricane, so this is a pretty rapid pace, and it's amazing to me as quickly as it is moving that it was able to strengthen and become so strong. So here's the latest track from the National Hurricane Center, keeping it a hurricane all the way into the Caribbean. Once it gets on the Yucatan Peninsula, it will probably weaken to a tropical storm, and then getting back into the Gulf. We were indicating that possibility a couple of days ago, in fact, and there it is, officially from the National Hurricane Center. Here's the cone of uncertainty. Let me explain that for just a bit. These things have built-in uncertainty. The weather forecasting, of course, is not precise. The atmosphere is chaotic. It behaves badly. I can take two feathers, put them in the same hand, put my hand in the wind, and those two feathers will go in vastly different places. Hence is the difficulty we're up with the forecasting challenge of forecasting the weather. And so with the cone of uncertainty, the further you get out into the future, the less certain we are, the less confident we are of what's going to happen. So here's the largest interval right here. Now, I tell you, 2/3 of the time, the forecast will be correct. The storm will be within this cone somewhere 2/3 at a time. 2 out of 3 times. 1 out of 3 times it won't be. So there leaves a lot of play in some of these areas on either side of the cone. So this is what we're looking at in the Gulf of Mexico. So by the next 5 days, at the end of that period, we think could either be here or it could be inland over Mexico. That's a pretty big distance. So there's a lot of uncertainty with these things. All right, let's check out some forecasts beyond where the National Hurricane Center is going. I think we can discount some of these over here on this eastern edge, but we're starting to look at these. This has been a little bit of a northward and eastward shift with some of this guidance right here. Earlier on, we were seeing pretty straight kind of into Mexico, something like this. So again, this represents a little bit of a shift. And again, these are tropical models that initialize a hurricane and then track it based on expected environmental conditions. So here's Futurecast for you. I'm going to try to analyze what is the critical factor for central Louisiana, whether we get impacts or not from this particular storm, because it is a possibility. So right now we have a heat dome. Here's the big high pressure. You see that clockwise rotation. That's why it's been hot lately, because it's been overhead for a while. It's going to continue to be overhead for a while. This is Hurricane Beryl in the eastern Caribbean. So let me kind of move this forward a little bit, and we'll show you that as Beryl gets into the northwest Caribbean, we still have the heat dome with us. We also have another big heat dome out across the west coast. And in between these two, we're starting to see some northwesterly flow. We're seeing some troughing come in. That's the opposite of the ridge. So this troughing is digging down into the southern Rockies. These, again, features are so much larger than Beryl that they tell the storm where to go with this size of circulation. So we've got that going on. That is by Thursday. And then as we go into Saturday, we still see some remnants of Beryl in this direction. I think we'll see a better defined system than what this model is indicating. This is GFS. It's one model's opinion, but I did want to show you the salient features here. The big cell out west continues, and so in fact it looks like it expands, and that is going to deepen this trough just a bit. And so if Beryl can feel this trough, then it will respond to it and head northward. As the high pressure ridge kind of weakens, this trough will actually crash this side of the ridge down some, although there could be a little bit of it remaining. But again, that's all these factors into play. It's this ridge, it's this one, what's left of it, and then in between the trough. And of course, those are the key points and the key features as to exactly will Cenla be affected or not. All right, let's go to the rest of the forecast there. This is going into next Tuesday, where we see that trough dominating. Beryl would have done its thing and by now, but the trough is winning out. This ridge kind of nudges eastward a little bit, and this will probably keep at least some scattered showers and thunderstorms going into the forecast for a while. So here are your 7-day numbers going into this. We have only a 10% Tuesday, a very hot day. This could be the hottest day of the year if we average 99. So that leaves room, I believe, for someone as cool as 95 for a high, and a 103 is possible on maybe 1 or 2 hot thermometers for the day. Notice rain chances increase Wednesday to 40%, still a very hot day. And by the way, heat indices throughout this period, pretty much through and into the weekend, will be over 100 degrees. But I think the hottest time is going to be this Tuesday through Friday time frame, when heat indices will be probably somewhere between 105 and 115 common across central Louisiana during the heating of the day. Once we get into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we see more seasonable temperatures, 73 for low, 93 for highs, and seasonal humidity levels. And so the heat will ease up just a bit. That will take the edge just a bit off the heat. But the next 4 days are going to be roasting out there, as folks will say. 4th of July, of course, hot as a firecracker, feeling like that 100 to 115. 30% chance of rain, which is pretty typical, usually for July day it is 40%. Friday, we keep 30% going there, another hot day. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, right now we're watching Beryl, not making an explicit forecast whether or not Beryl is going to affect us or not, because during this time frame, as far as what we see, is that it looks more likely, even if it responds to the trough, that it still will go somewhere into Mexico or Texas. And say, well, Texas, there could still be an impact in Cenla, right? And yes, you're dead correct, deadly correct. Of course, we see those impacts. If it gets close enough to us in Texas, or the circulation is large enough, we can see a surge of moisture. We can see various things, wind pick up. We can see a lot of rain and those kind of things. So again, we're just going to say that we're going to be watching this because, again, we're looking far into the future at the atmosphere, which is very chaotic and not well behaved. And of course, we need to keep an eye on things and analyze all the data. And Nick and I will be doing that in the coming days. And speaking of Nick, he'll be back with you in the morning, and I'll probably see you again sometime tomorrow. Got some more house maintenance tomorrow, so I may be late. So that's the way it goes, as you know. Thanks for your support, and have a blessed evening and a